Hello, Roy. Hello, Petros. I'm going to show you a few things with these cases so that you can understand that we already do make the cases where they can be put in, or the cues can be put in, joint pins up and tips up, all four. So as you can see here, I'm showing you the case with the joint pins up. This is a 3-year-old GTF case from the first batch. It's got the thickest amount of padding inside, and you can see that all the parts are in here that way. Now the cues can go in either direction as well. So what I wanted to say was what I want to say is that the padding that we put inside the GTF case is there only to fill up the space that's already there. This, for example, is an It's George case. It's an older one. And as you can see, in this case here, the parts will also go in, tips up. With all these cases, the idea behind them is efficiency. Okay, so there's not a lot of room, so you have to, no matter what, you still have to do it in a certain order in order to get this to go in correctly. Now you can see here the tips are in this case. See they're below the surface. So as you can see, they don't stick up, so you'd have to kind of hunt for them. But in this case here, both cues go in, and this is what it looks like in the old It's George. Now, you can see that the stuff, everything still rattles in here. So that you've got a lot of rattling going on with the way that the shafts and everything bang against each other inside. And then, of course, if I turn it over, you know, the cues can still have a chance to slide out easier. Of course, being efficient, you know, everything kind of squeezes against each other, so it's pretty good in there. But what I chose to do is I chose to add more padding so it fills up the space inside. Now here, I have a case, more recent vintage. This was made last year. And this one has less padding in. So here we're going to put the shafts in, same way. And you'll notice that the tips, hold that up a little bit. The tips stay up in our cases, so it's easier to get to them. Okay, now the whole thing with these cases is that you have to finagle with them a little bit. You have to play with them a little bit to get your parts in. But once they're in, they're in. So this is all 4 tips up in this case. Okay, and I'm going to show you the bottom in just a moment. Now we're going to put the butts in. Okay, so here I'm putting the butts in, bumper down. So now you can see how nicely this fits inside the case. And of course everything is easy to get to, easy to see, and the lid goes on easily with no problem. Now let me show you the bottom of this case. Okay, so you get an understanding. When people say that the GTF is too tight or it's tight or snug, this is what we mean by snug. You see, this is a bag inside. So the cue is not coming out of this at all. So even if the bottom were to fall off, the case would still be safe inside. The cues are still safe. So they're stopped right here. But there's no pressure on them. It's just a nice foam padded bag. As you can see, nothing even touches the rivets here. So there's nothing that can harm the cue. And this is all the way down. So everything in here is pushed already as low as it can go. Here, I'll push it down even further. Okay, now I've really pressed it in there so you can see what happens. You see, it just goes down in, I mean, just to the very end. But that's it. So even if this were to come off, there's nothing that can harm the cue. And everything's separated inside. Nothing can be harmed. But yet everything comes out this easily. No problem. So easy to take out. You know, just bring it right on out. And there you go. Also, if you prefer, you can put the cues in. You can put the butts in this way. This is actually a little bit better. This is the way I would recommend it because it brings the tapers to opposing points here. So the tapers are together. So here, now that does allow the cues to go down a little bit lower, but that's the safest way in my opinion. But if it's whatever you like. Either way, some people find it easier to do it this way because it's easier to grab a hold of the small end and pull it out. So that's the GTF case. So currently, we already make the case where you can fit it in the way that you state that you like to put it in. All right, so there's no problem there, as you can see, with the way that the GTF case is already made. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And as far as the rest of the case goes, there's other things that we can do. You asked for a snap. I don't really like to use snaps because they break. They're hard to replace when you need to. If you need a clasp, then get the clasp like this. This is the best clasp there is for that because it works, it's functional, and if it happens to break, there's 4 little screws. You can put a brand new one on. You don't have to tear the whole case apart. If you want the clasp on the back, we can do that for you. That's no problem. I mean, if you'd like to have the front to have a nice, smooth look, it's no problem to put that clasp on the back. Easy enough. On this particular case, you can see we did some backpack straps, so that can be lowered. We can put that anywhere. It's no problem. I mean, those are the little things we can do, but I would prefer not to do things that I feel can be a problem later, like putting a snap on like Ron Thomas does it, because if the snap breaks, then you have to destroy the case to fix it, and that's no good. Plus, I just don't really want to copy Ron Thomas, I mean, I think that the snap is a good idea, but I don't want to make a case that copies what he's done if I think I've got a better solution. So that's what we'd like to do. And anyway, thank you very much for your time. You guys take care. Bye-bye.